Welcome to Creative Vitality Jam Sessions. Here we have intimate conversations with extraordinary dance and theater artists about reimagining creativity and supporting and building community. Creative Vitality Jam Sessions and I walk in solidarity and as allies for equality, justice, and respect because Black lives matter. And we must keep in motion in order for change to come. I'm Helen Pickett, and today's guest is Raven Barkley, first company member of Charlotte Ballet. She is entering her 6th season, and Raven and I have known each other since 2018. Raven, welcome. Hi.
How are you?
How are you?
Doing well. How about yourself?
I'm very good, thank you. It's so good to see you here. You and I have been working pretty closely the past weeks on our new Home Studies 3, and it's next week, right? We're gonna actually finally get to see it. Wow.
Yes, I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. So I start with this first question with everybody. Where are you in the world?
I'm currently in Charlotte during this entire quarantine period, and at home by myself, doing lots of creative things and working with you. And I have to say, I'm like loving this time right now, like being able to reinvent myself.
Now, see, so that's wonderful. I just want to stay there a minute. That's beautiful. I think that's a really good thing to hear, that you're enjoying this time. I think that'll be inspirational. So you're reinventing yourself. Want to go into that a little more, or?
Yeah, sure. So I've basically found things that have made me happy, and getting back to what first made me become a dancer, become a professional dancer. So like improving, and I also been able to bond with my family more because, as a professional dancer, you're always on the go, you're always busy, always in rehearsal. So I've been able to spend some quality time and reconnect and find new things. Like I enjoy hiking now, something I would have never known that I liked. So I've had the opportunity to do that recently, and I've enjoyed it.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's a really positive note to start on. So I have to start with something that I find extraordinary because it's just so far away from my realm of any kind of knowledge in this particular situation. You are not only a professional, very accomplished ballet dancer, but you are also a coder. You have in advanced studies for coding, right?
Yes. Yeah. I took classes in college. I actually took a programming games class. It was we had to do part of our core curriculum. We had to take a math class, and all of my other friends were taking your basic math. I think it was called like math for contemporary life. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I want to do something else. I'm the type of person, I like to go like above and beyond and do things that people normally don't do. So I signed up for a programming games class, which was my favorite class, one of my favorite classes in college, besides like production, like tech production. But yeah, I took that class and I immediately fell in love with it and found out that it's complicated. It has a complexity to it, but I enjoyed that, and I stuck with it ever since.
So yeah, within that complexity, so it grabbed you because of this gaming class, and then you fell in love with the complexity. So as you say, you like having a good challenge. Do you find any correlations between coding and ballet?
Absolutely. So I feel like with coding, as you would with any sort of like choreography or with dance itself, you have the skeleton. And then there's an aspect of creativity because you have to think about, like, for instance, I had to do a project where I designed a website. and from scratch without like any sort of third party. And I had to think about, you know, the coding language. And then on top of that, I had to add a different coding language that was like specified in stylistic properties. So it was, you know, you have the skeleton, you have the basis, like with technique and choreography, and then you add the artistry on top of it. And I was like, oh, wow, I'm already a dancer. Now, you know, I can add that aspect into my, into coding, into programming. So I was like, I was drawn by that too, how similar and how correlated they are.
Wow. Wow. And could it be something you want to pursue when you're done with your dancing, with your dance career? Absolutely.
Absolutely. I always had that in the back of my head since college. I believe my freshman year, I decided that computer science was like my go-to for a post-dance career. And I took it upon myself, like outside of dance, to like stay up to date with, you know, articles within the tech community. And this is definitely something that I enjoy doing as a hobby. Like when I'm not dancing, I find it as like a stress releaser for me to just sit on my computer and just code. And that's also one of the things I've been doing during quarantine, is just, you know, making sure I'm not only staying in shape for dance, but staying in shape mentally, and staying in shape with my coding.
Beautiful. Wow.
It's been a ride.
Yeah, but it sounds like such an interesting joining of ideas, you know, again, so left and right brain, you know, amazing.
Oh yes, and I'm the type of person that enjoys using both sides of the brain.
Yeah, and making yourself smarter all the time with that, you know. You are from the Bronx, New York, is that right?
Yeah.
And you started at age 10 with Elliott Fell's Ballet Tech, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Wow. So what drew you? What drew you to dance? What was it that, you know, at 10 years old?
That's actually a funny story, because I hated dance. I didn't know anything about dance. My mom and my sister, they used to take dance classes, like movement classes, at a local community center in the Bronx. And I used to sit on the side and was like, no, this is not for me. Tried to have me take a ballet class. I kind of would throw like a little temper tantrum, like sit on the side, watch everybody else take it, never got up. But my mom forced me to take this audition for Elliott Feld's Ballet Tech, because we were in the process of going from elementary school to middle school. And knowing that my mom was a dancer, I was like, okay, fine, I'll take her word for it. I went to the audition. I made it all the way through. And my first day at Ballet Tech was actually during the summer. So we started, they had a summer program, like a summer intensive, before you started the actual school year. And I found that dance was a way like to express myself, because I was a shy kid. And I really found my voice in dance, and I really liked the way that it made me feel. And I really was drawn to the type of people in dance, like these creative humans, and the fact that you can do so many extraordinary things with your body, and being able to communicate with your body was something that I was in awe of, and continue to be in awe of, because I find new things that I can do like every day with, you know, within dance language. So, and then from then on, it was history. Here I stand, still dancing. In fact, in a ballet company, which is crazy, because I was like, I didn't even want to do this, but I love it.
Well, what I find, so I really into what you said about, because you were shy, but you found that dance was a way to communicate. And look what coding is too. It's another kind of communication. So you're actually, you're drawn to different languages to communicate with. And I find that for me is a very interesting correlation right there too, just from the outside, you know?
Yeah. Yes, definitely. I agree.
Okay, so you continued your dance training at LaGuardia Arts High School for Music, Art, and Performing Arts. It's a great, I know so many people in my almost 20 years of living in Brooklyn and New York, so many people that came out of that school that went to the Ailey School, because that's where I taught a lot. And I actually went there and taught a couple of, I forgot about that, a couple of master classes there. And it seems like a really wonderful, um, it's like it lives and breathes art and excellence. It's really an amazing high school. But at the same time, you attended Dance Theater of Harlem on a scholarship where you had the opportunities to perform, right? And you were also featured in the children's book, Beautiful Ballerina. I love that. I love that. Can you speak about this time of all of those influences and perhaps who might have influenced you or inspired you to take those next steps?
Absolutely. So during that time, I really learned about time management because I was doing so much, even at a young age, and still like trying to keep my grades up as well. Because as much as LaGuardia was an artistic challenge, it was also an academic challenge. I took all sorts of honors and AP classes, but that time was like a special moment for me. I found my love for dance, even more because I was attending Dance Theater of Harlem, so I saw people who looked like me, who were also in this profession. So I had people to look up to, and I would have to say that the people who inspired me the most was, number one, my mother, because she was always like that type of support behind me, like, you can do it, it'll pay off in the end. And she's always taught me to dare to be great. That's our little like special quote to one another. Even when she does certain things and have speeches, I'm like, yeah, dare to be great, Mom. Like, yeah. And also a lot of my teachers, so I had the opportunity to work with Mr. Mitchell and perform one of his ballets during that time. And the school director at the time, Endalyn Taylor.
I love her.
She's so
in school together at Holland's.
Yes,
yeah.
She's, oh my gosh, we had her a lot as a teacher within the while I was in the school. Andrea Long, who helped me immensely, and Michelle Lucci as well. She was one of the teachers during that time, and they were, and Robert Garland, because he also, he choreographed. I worked with him, and he inspired me a lot. And he also did my senior project in college. So shout out to Mr. Garland. Yeah. But yes, those individuals really helped me, and they motivated me. And when I doubted myself, because there are times when you doubt yourself, like, am I doing this? Is this, am I on the right path? And they were always the people behind me that told me, no, you can do this. Like, don't ever doubt yourself. And they would always, they were there during my entire college audition process as well. So I'm really thankful for all of them to help me get to this point. And also Virginia Johnson at the time, because she wrote a couple of recommendation letters for me. And she was somebody that I also looked up to because of her history, her legacy, and who she, all that she had accomplished at the time and still is accomplishing. So I'm very fortunate to have these people that I could look up to and be able to say that, one day I'll be able to do something of that sort, in my own sort of way. So I'm really grateful.
Yeah, I mean, just the names you went through they're titans in the dance world, right? They're just,
yes.
They're, what role models? Yes. What role models, right? And what accomplished artists. Yes. So wow, you had titans to look up to. That's beautiful.
Yes.
So you have received several awards for excellence, so not only academic, but also for dance in school and as a professional. You graduated summa cum laude with a BFA from SUNY Purchase, right on. And then right out of college, you got this first company contract with Charlotte, where we met and worked with each other years later. And since then, we have worked together in Home Studies 3. Rather than talking about company life, I just wanted to bring up, where we are now. So I actually wanted to talk with you about, since we had kind of an extended work time on Zoom for Home Studies, what was your experience creating in the Zoom element? And then, it might be obvious, but what were the things you missed and what were the things you actually learned?
So during this entire process, at first, I was a little bit scared because I was letting people into my space, into my sanctuary, and it was different. And I actually ended up enjoying the process a little bit more than what I expected, because I'm the type of person, and you know this about me, I love the sense of like feeling those around me and like partnering, and I enjoy the people that I work with, and that was really something that I missed during this entire process. Even in the studio, I'm always looking around and very observant of others, and not having that around this, during the Zoom home studies, I was a little taken aback, and I was like, oh my gosh, like who do I look to? And I really learned how to dig in deeper into the work, rather than like relying on like somebody else to create this sort of environment. I was like, I'm creating my own environment by myself. And I learned how to be spatially aware because we're in smaller confines. And I was dancing a lot of the process. I was dancing and rehearsing on carpet. So I learned how to dance on different surfaces as well. So that was that was the biggest thing that I got out of doing the Zoom choreography and studies. And also the technical aspect of it, like we've had to reverse some things. Like I really had to click on the brain sometimes, which is hard because you're like, it's, you're looking at it and you're like, is that the right leg, the left leg? So I had to be faster with things. And that's that actually really helped too, because I was present, like even more than I am in the studio.
Well, that's what I've wondered. I've asked this same question to all the people I've worked with. Well, not every single one, but when I talk about it, and almost everyone says they think they might go into the studio when they get back to the studio quicker, because there's no mirror.
Right.
No people to rely on. You have to get all the details yourself. You have to compute it fast because, I've slowed down my process a bit, but I'm kind of fast when I give out steps. So I've heard that from quite a few people. That's like looking to the positives now in this time. That's great. I think that's wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I would have, because I also kind of, I needed time as well when I learned things. So I always think about that. This is a challenge,
It's a nice challenge. I will admit that.
Right? Since, let's see. Oh, yeah. And then one more part of this question. Since, creating, dance for film is very in the air right now, could you see this added to a company in a viable way as an addition to the content besides the live theater? Do you think it's going to have life?
I think so, because now we're considering this Zoom life as, the norm right now. And we don't know when things are going to get back to normal, as we would say. And at the beginning of quarantine, I had a different view on like Zoom choreography and Zoom dancing. And I was like, I don't think, it's going to be a thing. I don't really like it that much. Because like I said, I enjoy being, in the flesh, like in the studio around others. And because that's taken away, I've totally changed my aspect. And I do think it will be an integral part of companies now, because it might be, the only way that we can get not necessarily mass production, but get seen, because a lot of people might not feel comfortable coming back to the theater as soon as we would like them. I also think that it adds another aspect of creativity, because now you have a third person who's, a part of that creative process, the videographer. You have, others who have their different artistic values. So you add that. So it's more communal experience, I feel, right now. And I do see it being a part of our dance community from now on.
Yeah, and I think, what's the phrase you say with your mom? Dare to be great?
Dare to be great.
Yeah. One of mine is, why not? And success favors the prepared mind. So dig into this new reality, because why not?
Why not?
Yeah. And also, I like you, I like the puzzle, and I like to be challenged by a new puzzle. And this is definitely, that's a positive also of taking away from this time is, well, first of all, doing these talk shows. I've really enjoyed that way more than I thought. And it really, it's really bloomed into something I really believe in now, as far as like sharing you guys with the world. And also, or maybe I'm a little bit not too humble. Maybe I should just say with a select few people. I don't know how many people tune in, but also the Zoom choreography is a way for me to practice also what I believe in, which is the ethics of casting. So it's like these positive things that are happening at this time. I get to practice them right now, and perhaps a way I wouldn't have been so able to. I always practice it, but it's concentrated now.
Right.
So, can you share a favorite or impactful memory or memories from your creative life?
Yeah, an impactful memory. I would have to say when I did the soloist role in Winter, Sasha James' Winter, because that was a moment where I really stepped out of my shell, and it was with a group of men, all the males, and the first company. And I was the only female on stage, so I found my power within, because I had to match these individuals like jump for jump. And that's where I truly found a sense of how much strength I possessed, and how much I could accomplish and like do on stage. And I really, that was a moment where I was present. I was really present on stage, and I was feeling every aspect of the stage. And it was memorable, because that was my first year in the company, and I really didn't know that I was capable of doing that. And I shocked myself, and I like having those feelings where I shock myself, like, wow, okay, because then that's when we grow. Right. And that was one of the moments where I was like, I started to doubt myself, and I was like, I don't know if I can do this as well as I want to. And I was like, obviously, stamina is one of my challenges. And you know that about me too. I'm always like, whoa. But it was definitely a puffer on stage, and I really pushed through mentally, physically, emotionally, and I felt good after it.
Beautiful. Yeah. What a great memory to anchor into. Beautiful. Do you have an insight or daily inspiration that you can share about a creative life? Or along with that, perhaps what this daily insight or inspiration gives you as far as reimagining?
Hmm. Yeah, so during quarantine, I've tried to. I have this thing where I do now where I get up. I have a little reading corner in my bedroom, and I like to get up and have a cup of coffee. And one of my favorite things to do is read. I also like to take walks. I find that very important right now since we're kind of stuck inside. I like to get out. And ever since I went hiking this past week and really was drawn back to nature again, and just the way that something that's so beautiful can have an influence on, you know, who you are as a person. And I felt rejuvenated and newly inspired. And you know, I live in the city, so it's kind of like I live in uptown rather, and I was born in New York, so nature, I would go to the woods every once in a while, but it really wasn't something that I every day, and I have a lot of allergies, so I like to keep it minimal. But I that's been one of my new ways of reinventing myself and reimagining my creativity, because I felt so inspired by this hike the other day, and I feel inspired by the books that I read, the words on the pages. I'm also inspired by a lot of the people that I know, like also being a part of home studies. That definitely was something that I thoroughly enjoyed during this time, and I found a different Raven. It changed me as a dancer because of the Zoom aspect. And also I've been improving, and I feel very inspired when I just turn on some music, whether it's hip hop, all sorts of genres, and just move and find what feels good on my body. And that really continues to inspire me, because I'm like, whoa, I can do this, I can do that. So it's been, yeah, it might change next week, but this is what it is for this month and currently too.
Yeah, but that's like, you know, again, you know, that's a great point. You know, reimagine yourself uh, right now. And I love it. This dance improving to different, all different kinds of music, and finding out, like you said, whoa, I didn't know that. Like all of this is going to take you into the studio. I mean, it's super inspiring, I think, for also young people to hear that feel like they're locked in. That just keep dancing, don't just take class. Do what you're doing. Keep dancing in your little private space, you know, with the plant and the wood shades and whatever it is, you know, it's, yeah, absolutely, Raven. Absolutely. So, last question. I always save the big one for last. And I know there are many things, many aspects, but if there's one or two in particular, in supporting and building a more equitable dance community, what do you believe needs to be shifted or changed?
I think the respect that we have for one another. Once we learn how to respect or start respecting our different journeys, our different walks of life, our ethnicities, our gender, I think that's when we will see a more equitable community. I also think that I'm a big believer that representation matters.
Yes.
So having people on the board that look like, you know, people on stage, or that basically recapitulate your community. And I think, and also like choreographers, having female choreographers, having choreographers of color within this community, because I also believe that nobody can tell those stories until you've lived them. You've experienced them. And like I said, I'll reiterate it again. I just think that we just have to start respecting one
Yeah. Yeah.
another as a whole.
Yeah.
Is that it's, you know, it's kind of like everything just goes haywire.
Yeah. 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 Um, Absolutely. I just, I don't know if you're watching the convention, but I've been watching these speeches, and again, talk about inspiration, watching Michelle Obama's speech. I actually have watched it 3 times now, and watching and listening to Joe Biden's wife, Jill, yesterday, and listening to all of these people that believe that change can happen, that we can keep evolving. It is there. And the respect needs to, I always say, equal seats at the table, not more, equal seats. And that means what we've just spoken about, not just gender. Actually, Virginia Johnson and I would say, let's see, we want to see ballet companies that represent the United States. And these are all the positive spins. And then you think, it seems pretty positive. It seems like it could happen, but yeah, so I'm with you there. Raven, this has just been an enlightening talk. And I think that, you've given a lot of great avenues for inspiration during this time as well. And as a young person, as a professional that's dancing and waylaid, so I really thank you for this, these nuggets of inspiration and daring to be great. You are a beautiful artist. I have enjoyed working with you in the studio and in Zoom. I've learned from you, and I have a tremendous amount of respect. And I know that we've talked about how your shifts are carrying you forward into the next part of your career. And I think you're a shining star. I see nothing but great for you. So yeah, thank you so much. It was a great talk. Raven, do you have a website or do you have an Instagram tag where we can find out more about you? I mean, other than going to charlotteballet.org, right? Because they can find out a little about you there. Is that right?
Yes. My Instagram handle is that'saraven03. And I also am on Facebook, just under Raven Barkley.
Great. Okay. And if you wouldn't mind staying with me, I'm just going to finish the show. So in the description box below, when this is uploaded to our YouTube channel, Creative Vitality Jam Sessions, you will see a short bio about Raven and some other information about upcoming guests. We are on twice a week, Tuesdays and Sundays, with new sessions. We're approaching our 30th session. It's kind of, I counted them today. And on our next session, you will meet Cira Robinson, who's a senior artist from London's Ballet Black. So really looking forward to that chat as well. And now I want to say thank you to everyone who makes this show also happen. Gracie Spina, thank you so much. Super young Jedi intern. I want to say heartfelt thanks to my dance community, the resilient and beautiful dance community, and we will come out stronger. Thank you again, Raven, for this beautiful chat. And thanks everybody for tuning in. And until next time, keep reimagining creativity. Bye.